Farmer Al achieves in raising his farming skills to level 10, which raises his warrior abilities to 65,000 points for some reason. When he witnesses adventurers fighting a S-rank dragon, he throws a carrot to distract it, only for the carrot to kill the dragon. A criminal kidnaps Princess Fall Ys in Mage's City, but Al rescues her with his new abilities. Fall Ys is astonished to learn that the kidnapper had over 500 warrior points, which is impressive given that normal humans only have 50, and yet Al defeated him. News reaches Magus of a monster army, not seen since Demon Lord Macbeth was killed. Officer Cecil demands they destroy the army, but after luring Fall Ys and her father the king away from Magus, he reveals he is actually Romeo Vanded, Macbeth's demon general, and intends to murder Fall Ys and the king, and then pose as the king to rule Magus himself. Al steps in, worried that the army will destroy Magus, leaving him with nowhere to market his vegetables. Al defeats Romeo with a single strike. Fall Ys offers Al a 33,000 square meter farm as a reward in exchange for him registering as an adventurer to serve the kingdom as required. Al agrees, but when he sees the field, he discovers it is a wasteland unfit for farming. 2. Fall Ys takes Al to the guild to register with guild secretary Helen. Helen gives Al her old robe as beginner's equipment after he takes his first quest. In the forest, a super rare black dragon appears with such a terrifying aura that Al freezes with terror. Fortunately, it completely ignores him. Helen suffers nightmares and memory lapses. Al reports the dragon to the guild, which he names as Ouroboros the Malevolent based on its stats. Helen abruptly remembers a buried memory of her brother, Rai, who was killed by Ouroboros and was the original wearer of Al's new robe. Helen's adoptive mother, is surprised Helen gave Al her robe, explaining when she found Helen as a child all she had was amnesia and that robe. Reeks, a young postman, brings Al a note from his mother. Al and Fall Ys gain access to records from the day Helen was discovered and learn that Ouroboros destroyed Honel village, which could have been Helen's birthplace. They also discover that Ouroboros was allegedly killed by his enemy dragon, Mirage the Benevolent. While searching Honel, Al comes across Rai as a ghost, though Fall Ys cannot see him, and Rai reveals that he has waited 15 years for someone who can see him. 3. In a flashback to when Honel was devastated, Ouroboros first terrified his victims in order to feast on their despair-filled souls. He then left Helen alive so she could spread the story, causing dread in other human communities, so that when Ouroboros returned in 15 years, a new feast of human despair would be ready. Rai became a ghost, so he could watch Helen and now warns Al, Ouroboros will want Helen and the city of Magus. Al is concerned that he is not strong enough, but Rai assures him that if Ouroboros feeds on despair, then opposing feelings should weaken him. Al and Fall Ys rush back to Magus to prepare for Ouroboros' return. Helen, driven by her returning memories of Rai's death, confronts Ouroboros in the forest to offer her life in exchange for Magus. Al finds Helen before she can commit suicide and punches Ouroboros so hard he actually hurts him. He relays Rai's message to Helen, telling her that his death was not her responsibility and that she must forgive herself. Helen's spirit becomes filled with hope, a lethal poison to Ouroboros, whose stats plummet to the point where Al's next punch knocks him out. Al is taken aback when Helen stabs him in the chest. 4. Mirage unexpectedly saves Al, revealing Helen is possessed by Ouroboros and thus gives Al his purification magic to heal his injury. Ouroboros is confident that Al will not attack Helen, only for Al to land a powerful blow on her, showing Helen had communicated with Al through her eyes. Ouroboros tries to possess Al, but his consciousness is only filled with a desire to farm. Mirage expels and purifies Ouroboros because there are no negative ideas to manipulate. Al awakens in Magus where Helen and Fall Ys reveal Mirage also disappeared. Helen reveals that she can now turn any part of her body into dragon limbs at will, which she intends to use to protect others and live happily in Rai's memory. Days later, Reeks delivers Al a letter from his father asking him to visit them in Lurugis, and Al is excited to go as Lurugis is famous for its farming and excellent fertilizer. Helen takes over Al's active quests and gives him a vacation, revealing with her dragon limbs that she is now an F-rank adventurer. Fall Ys offers to take him to meet his parents, but Al quickly declines, fearing that bringing a girl to his parents would create misunderstandings. On his trip, Al is almost sexually assaulted by a lustful male orc, but the orc is killed in time by a young woman. Ruri, the girl, volunteers to accompany Al to Lurugis. Reeks tracks them down with another note from Al's mother. Ruri is devastated by this because her own family does not care about her. Ruri sets up camp, showing that her bag, despite its small size, can contain a large number of large items inherited from her hero ancestor, who defeated Demon Lord Macbeth. Ruri is training and has heard Lurugis is plagued by accidents and demon sightings. She aspires to live up to the hero's memory one day. Ruri is saddened by their separation when they arrive in Lurugis, so Al asks her to accompany him home again in a week. Al visits his parents, his overly doting housewife mother, Lucica, and muscle-bound farmer father Gilles. Al merely mentions Ruri and Lucica goes wild, claiming Al is too young for girls, marriage and babies, comically punishing both Al and Gilles. Gilles is suspicious of Ruri, as there are definitely no accidents or demon sightings in Lurugis. After purchasing his fertilizer, a sinister man lures Al to the forest with Ruri, revealing he has manipulated them with powerful illusion magic, and even lured Ruri to Lurugis in the first place with fake rumors of demons, as he knows she is the hero's descendant. The man claims to be Loki, a demon who became interested in Al after he defeated Romeo and Ouroboros. Loki is eliminating anyone who might be able to stop the next Demon King, Ruri because she might one day be the hero, Al because of his abilities, and Helen because she absorbed Ouroboros' power. Loki has leech monsters begin eating Al, but Al feeds them the fertilizer, which is also a pesticide, and the leeches die. Ruri feels ashamed for allowing her family to make her feel useless. Loki is killed as a result of her sudden confidence in herself. Ruri realizes she has fallen in love with Al after he collapses from fatigue. Al wakes hours later, but there is a new threat. Al is late for work, and Lucica is looking for him. Fearing for Ruri's life if they are found together, Al carries her back to Lurugis just in time. Al chooses to go back to his farm. Lucica is concerned that Al continues to insist on farming, and it is suggested that Al only became a farmer because of a death in his past. With Ruri escorting him to Magus, they both worry demons may target them again and decide to keep each other safe, though their promise flusters Ruri. Fall Ys has a difficult conversation with her father. Al discovers that monster attacks have stopped all inter-kingdom trade, leaving many people hungry. Prince Natalis of Antisburg Kingdom, wielding the sacred blade Leviathan, drives the monsters away. Fall Ys abruptly tells Al that she is leaving Magus permanently. With the monsters gone, trade resumes normalcy, but everyone discovers Fall Ys has departed to marry Natalis. Al receives a letter from Lucica, revealed as former leader of intelligence, gathering group the shadow puppets, that Leviathan is a fake. The monsters are being unwillingly controlled by a peaceful demon named Gazel, whose human lover is held hostage by Natalis. Al realizes Natalis faked the monster attacks, so he could demand Fall Ys marry him in exchange for saving Magus. Al, Helen, and Ruri hire Reeks, a strangely efficient postman, to safely transport them to Antisburg. Natalis manipulates other kingdoms into giving him land, money, and trade agreements in return for monster protection, and he plans to marry Fall Ys in the morning. Al acquires disguises, while Reeks, revealed to be a peaceful demon and a shadow puppet, sets out to collect genuine monsters in order to expose Natalis as a fraud. In Antisburg, Natalis is enraged after overhearing Fall Ys lament the fact she will never see Al again. Al, Helen, and Ruri infiltrate Antisburg with the intention of freeing Gazel's partner. Unfortunately, Al instantly exposes them, so Helen and Ruri battle the soldiers, while Al rescues Gazel's lover and transports her to the church in time to crash the wedding. Fall Ys is overjoyed to see Al, who exposes Natalis' fraud. With his lover returned, Gazel declines to control the monsters, and Natalis is unable to repel them with the forged Leviathan. Natalis, enraged, discloses that he sent another monster army to Magus, but Helen and Ruri had foreseen this and organized Magus adventurers into a formidable army that defeated the monsters. With his crimes revealed, Natalis is apprehended by his own soldiers. Fall Ys declares she is in love with the shocked Al. The king happily accepts an unwilling Al as his future son-in-law, infuriating Ruri. In his role as a shadow puppet, Reeks shows the king evidence Natalis' plans were secretly masterminded by someone else. Fall Ys and Ruri develop an intense rivalry for Al, who ends up caught in the middle. They are shocked when Al claims another woman already has his heart. Al is later seen placing his harvest at a shrine to someone called Ilvia. 15 years ago, a young orphan named Ilvia was forced to steal crops to survive. Farmers were taken aback by her stealth and planned to sell her to slave traders, but Al's parents paid for everything. She stole and adopted Ilvia. Lucica and Gilles decided to purchase a house in the city 2 years later and went house hunting while Al and Ilvia looked after the farm. Testa, Al's best buddy, claims a treasure is hidden in the forest and asks him to join him in the search. Ilvia wishes to come along, but Al stops her because the location could be dangerous for her. While searching, Testa told Al that Gilles and Lucica planned to move into the city because the farmers still mistreated Ilvia badly. Al discovered an abandoned city in a cave, but suddenly triggered a trap that caused a volcano to erupt, blocking out the sun with ash and killing all the crops. People were compelled to ration their remaining food after being cut off from the city by a collapsed bridge, and Gilles and Lucica were unable to reach them. Ilvia contemplated stealing again, but instead secretly gave Al her food rations, because Al had previously protected her. Ilvia died of malnutrition, and Al blamed himself for her death after learning Ilvia had sacrificed herself to help him survive. In the present, Al is sad that he grows so much food Ilvia will never get to eat, but swears to continue farming, so no one starves again. A girl called Linnea requests that an adventurer examine something wrong with her town of Gal. Helen is uncomfortable with such a vague description, so Al offers, hoping to investigate the aspera vegetable grown in Gal. In Gal, Al notices citizens acting hypnotized. Linnea admits she has an anti-hypnosis necklace and gives it to Al. Al is attacked by soldiers sent by Gal's Lord Remuel, who Al easily defeats, but Linnea defends Remuel, who is holding her parents captive. Remuel has been seized by the demon Vritra and has hypnotized all humans using a magical crystal. Desiring Al's strength, Vritra had Linnea lure Al there, so Vritra can implant the crystal in Al's body and hypnotize the whole world. Helen and Ruri abruptly destroy the crystal, effectively stopping the hypnosis. Al admits that they were his emergency backup, which he kept hidden from Linnea in case she was also hypnotized. He helps Remuel expel Vritra from his body by stuffing his mouth with aspera, which Remuel is obsessed with, and Al defeats Vritra. Linnea allows Al to keep the necklace as a memento before kissing him and stating that when she is old enough, she will marry him, even if he has already married another woman. Helen and Ruri discipline Al for kissing her. Fall Ys discovers Linnea and is disappointed that Al is friends with yet another lady. Al is furious after discovering his fields infected with bush gillers, a viney weed. The king pays Al a call in order to persuade him to marry Fall Ys right away. This causes an argument between the girls that knocks Al unconscious. Al has a brief vision of a winged lady while sleeping. Al buys herbicide to fight the bush gillers, but is diverted by the rescue of a young girl from kidnappers. Reeks identifies her as Yuria, daughter and heir of the Demon King. She reveals her caretaker Volpe had suddenly told her she was in danger and teleported her away from her father's castle. She wants Al to escort her home across the ocean. Al agrees and puts Reeks in charge of killing the bush gillers. Because ships are costly, Al instead drives Yuria across the ocean. They are quickly discovered by a hypnotized Volpe, who assaults Yuria. Volpe is abruptly knocked out by Lucica, who followed Al across the ocean after learning about Yuria from Reeks. They discover Yuria's father injured and unconscious at the palace. Lucica attempts to murder Yuria, showing herself to be a disguised Ilvia, still alive and now an adult. Ilvia reveals she was resurrected by the evil god who granted her overwhelming power. Ilvia also reveals that Al's lover of nature talent, which enables him to be so powerful, was a gift from evil god, and that Al has already met evil god. She then insists that Al swear allegiance to her or she will murder his family and friends. Time stops and Al encounters the winged woman again, who is revealed to be good god, who takes evil god's power away from Al and replaces it with her own. With his new power, Al rescues Yuria, so Ilvia teleports away, promising to see Al soon. Fall Ys departs the palace with the help of her sinister maid, Albi, who serves as her body double. Al believes it was Evil God who erupted the volcano when he was young and asks Testa about it, but Testa remembers nothing. Al invites Testa to the city, but he declines, revealing privately that he is unable to leave the village for a mystery reason. Al nearly loses to an orc and realizes that losing Evil God's lover of nature ability has cost him the majority of his strength. Reeks delivers a letter from Lusaka, who is in the middle of an important investigation. Al chooses to remain a normal farmer adventurer until he learns more about Evil God. Ilvia looks forward to seeing Al again.